Good day, my name is Muhammad Iqmal Nazmy bin Rusnizam with student ID 22011948. Right now, we will present an article Zinc Oxide-Induced Changes to Sunscreen Ingredient Efficacy and Toxicity under UV Irradiation by Gisberg et al., published in 2021. I will talk about the overview of the article. This study looked at what actually happened to sunscreen ingredients after exposed to sunlight for some amount of time, especially when zinc oxide is part of the formula. The researchers made 5 common sunscreen mixtures and tested them with and without zinc oxide in both nano and micro sizes by using zebrafish embryos. After 2 hours of UV exposure, they checked how much UV protection was left and whether the mixture became toxic or not. They found that mixture without zinc oxide was stable. However, when zinc oxide was added, especially with avobenzone, UV protection dropped by over 80% and the mixture became toxic, causing defect in the fish embryos.
My name is Ahmad Syakir bin Razak and my student ID is 2201226. In this presentation, I will be discussing 2 types of critiques from the article Research Design and Methodology and Implication for Sunscreen Use. First, Research Design and Methodology. The design was designed using both in vitro and in vivo approaches, which give it strong scientific value. One of the highlights is the use of zebrafish embryos for toxicity testing. Zebrafish are considered reliable models because they showed many genetic similarities with humans and developed quickly, allowing researchers to test chemical effects efficiently. They are also widely used in environmental toxicology and are seen as ethical alternatives to traditional animal testing. Besides that, the study used UV visible spectroscopy to measure how sunscreen ingredients break down under sunlight. This technique helps track the loss of sun protection over time in a quantitative way. However, there are some clear limitations. The study only tested simplified mixture made out of zinc oxide and UV filters. It did not include other ingredients commonly found in actual sunscreen like emulsion surfactants or preservatives. This ingredient can significantly influence the chemical stability and behavior of sunscreen, so leaving them out means the result don't fully represent real-world use. Another drawback is that although the study confirmed toxicity in zebrafish embryos, it didn't identify which chemical byproducts were responsible or how they cause harm. Knowing the biological mechanism behind these effects would have made the result more useful and relevant.
Hi everyone, my name is Ruhan Sri Rama with student ID 2400712, and I'll be covering the next 2 critiques for the article by Gisberg et al. The second critique focuses on the implications for sunscreen use. This research has important implications for sunscreen safety and design. It shows that when zinc oxide is combined with common chemical UV filters like avobenzone and octisalate, the mixture breaks down under UV light. This not only reduces how well the sunscreen protects your skin, but it also creates potentially harmful byproducts. What's worrying is that many popular sunscreens today are hybrid types, using both mineral and chemical filters. They are marketed as offering broader and better protection, but this study challenges that idea. The findings suggest that these combinations may actually pose risks to both human health and the environment. Despite these serious findings, the study doesn't provide any practical solutions. For example, it doesn't suggest safer filter combinations or techniques like coating zinc oxide particles to prevent degradation. It also doesn't test actual commercial sunscreens, which makes it harder to apply these findings directly to products people are using now. Without recommendations for reformulating sunscreens or regulatory follow-up, the study raises important safety questions, but stops short of guiding the industry towards safer, more stable formulations. The final critique focuses on the environmental and toxicological relevance of the study. A key strength of this paper is how it shows the link between sunscreen photodegradation and toxicity in aquatic environments. The researchers used zebrafish embryos, an established ecotoxicology model due to their fast development and sensitivity in contaminants. The study found that UV-exposed mixtures contain zinc oxide and organic UV filters caused higher rates of developmental abnormalities. This aligns with existing research showing that sunscreen breakdown products can affect growth, survival, and reproduction in aquatic species. Overall, the study adds valuable insight into how sunscreen use may contribute to environmental harm. However, there are several limitations. The first weakness is that the study only tests freshwater zebrafish, which limits its relevance to marine life like corals or crustaceans. These species may respond differently to sunscreen chemicals, so the findings don't fully capture the broader environmental impact. Next, the study doesn't simulate real-life pollution scenarios. For example, it doesn't measure how much sunscreen actually enters oceans or rivers during activities like swimming. Without that context, it's hard to assess the real-world risk. Finally, the study doesn't identify which specific chemical breakdown products cause the toxicity. This makes it harder to understand long-term risks or guide safer sunscreen development.
Hi, my name is Nurin Binti Hamasrull and my student ID is 22011215. In this short reflection, I'll be sharing how we use artificial intelligence during the process of writing our critique report. I'll explain how it supported us, what its limitations were, and why it is important to use it responsibly in academic work. In creating this critique report, we used artificial intelligence as a tool to support our writing and research. AI assisted us in organizing our ideas, paraphrasing technical language, and ensuring that the structure of the critique was clear and logical. It helped us save time on repetitive writing tasks so we could focus more on critical analysis and deeper understanding on the research. However, while AI provided useful guidance, it didn't replace our responsibility to think critically. We still had to interpret the findings, assess the research design, and evaluate the real-world implication ourselves. The AI gave us a starting point, but it was up to us to apply our academic judgment and make sure the content reflected on our own understanding. It's also important that we use AI ethically. We make sure the ideas presented were our own, and we treated AI as a tool, not as the author. Responsible use means being transparent about its role and ensuring that the final product stays true to our voice and perspective. Overall, AI helped us work more efficiently, but the thinking, the analysis, and conclusion were still ours. In the end, this experience taught us that while AI is a helpful tool, true learning still comes from our own effort, understanding, and critical thinking. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Aina Najihah Binti Muhammad Yusof with student ID 22012073 and I will be concluding our presentation by highlighting the key takeaway message from this report. From the finding and critiques, one clear message stands out where the safety and the effectiveness of sunscreen cannot be judged based on the individual ingredients only, like zinc oxide. When combined with small molecule UV filters, zinc oxide may actually reduce protections and increase toxicity, especially after sunlight exposure. This contradicts the common belief that hybrid sunscreen are always safer or more effective. The study also reminds us that real-world use matters. Lab results are useful but don't fully reflect how sunscreen behave when exposed to sunlight, water, sweat, or mixed with other products. So, future research need to focus on testing completes and commercial formulations under realistic conditions. Most importantly, this research call for more responsible product testing, better labeling, and updated regulations, not just for consumer safety, but also to protect the environments, especially aquatic ecosystem. In short, we need to move beyond just asking if an ingredient works and start asking if the full product remains safe, stable, and eco-friendly throughout its use. Thank you.